What up, movie lovers? This is Apocaflix Movies, and this is our audio review for 999. For those of you who don't know, this is a action heist thriller movie directed by John Hillcoat. He directed movies like Lawless
and The Road.
So we're going to get into it. We just saw the movie last night. I'm Jacob Bartley, the host of the Apocaflix Movie News Podcast, and I'm joined again by Jake Berlin. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm glad to be here talking 999.
Oh, yeah. So we kind of have a little new format for our reviews. We just do our general impressions, positives, negatives, and then we have something called the WTF moment. Just one thing in the movie that really stood out to you. Could be something positive, could be something negative. And then we do would you recommend it? So would we recommend it to general audiences or a certain demographic? And then we'll give our score out of 10 with our closing thoughts. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Jake, overall, what did you think of 999?
I liked it. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Grounded, gritty, hardcore, grungy, dirty cop gang members, action. John Hillcoat's so good at it. I mean, Lawless is a clear indication of that. The cast is phenomenal. I mean, we'll get into that later. But, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a very different type of film. It's something we rarely see in a cop gang member movie. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's everything, or not everything I was hoping for, but it's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. So for me, I really enjoyed the film. I think, you know, I had such high expectations going in, and maybe I shouldn't have.
I hear you.
If my expectations were tempered a little bit, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But so it didn't quite live up to my expectations, but I did really enjoy the film. The cast is incredible. The performances, I wasn't bored at all. I thought it kept moving really well. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the film. So Jake, you said you liked it, so what exactly did you like about 999?
Well, I think the main standout is the cast.
For sure,
there wasn't, out of all of the headliners, there wasn't one cast member who did a bad job.
Yeah, not at all.
And, you know, Chiwetel Ejiofor, that dude just rocks the socks off everybody. Norman Reedus, who I'm really happy to see step outside of TV, because I think he's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in these type of roles. We saw a different kind of Aaron Paul. You know, we were joking, you know, a little bit of Jesse from Breaking Bad.
It was
a darker Jesse.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
a very dark Jesse.
Yeah.
Clifton Collins Jr., who, if you see him in anything, the guy rocks. He's very much a sporting guy. Casey Affleck, who's become one of my favorites. Kate Winslet, Anthony Mackie, a little bit of Gal Gadot in there. Teresa Palmer, a little bit of her in there. And you can't go without saying the great Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is so cool. And whatever he does, and it's just...
Dude, he's lighting up joints the whole movie.
I said it... Well, he pulled it out of the trash can and he lit it up.
Out of like a crack fiend's house.
I said it last night. It is... Woody Harrelson's the only dude that can do it. Like, it is
especially
literally...
that last scene.
It is literally True Detective in a movie. Like, that character.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely one of the positives. I thought they were all great. They all played their roles great, and they served the film very well. Another thing, the action was great. Very hardcore, grounded, gritty. It wasn't big, gigantic, blockbuster action, but it served the story
at all.
And that's what's so good about, like, when you want action, you want it to serve the story. This served the story, and you got flavors of it here and there. Really good stuff in there. I thought the story was really good. Everything kind of came together at the end. It was all like thrown out in pieces in the very beginning and then all kind of folded together in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really good. I mean, John Hillcoat's so good at it. He's really becoming a good director and a favorite of mine after Lawless. I mean, I love that movie. The Road is really well done. And he's really good at these type of films. And so, I mean, there are many others, but those are definitely the three standouts for me.
Yeah, definitely. You got to mention the cast. See, when I hear these big ensemble casts, sometimes I get worried because I'm like, how are they going to fit all these actors in and give them enough screen time to be effective? And this was done brilliantly. I thought, you know, you have your main characters, and it's not fair to compare, like, the 8th main character to the 2nd or 3rd main character. So everyone, as far as their roles were, they did a great job, and they all fit, and no one kind of got shorthanded as far as their roles were. You know, freaking Casey Affleck, man. Ever since I watched Gone Baby Gone, I've been really intrigued with him as an actor, and he made a movie like The Finest Hours to me, which I didn't really like, but he made it watchable to me. He's so great in that. He was great in this movie. And they kind of promote him as the lead. He's not really the lead. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor is the lead.
I would have to agree with you.
But he was great in it. Anthony Mackie's great in it. Chiwetel Ejiofor is amazing in this. He's becoming one of my favorite actors. Everyone played their role well. You know, I thought it's funny, like Norman Reedus and
Aaron Paul
playing brothers. Like,
Yeah.
and they're both from
They
TV
kind
shows.
of look like each other though.
And the way they are seems like they would
Yeah.
be brothers. So that was really cool to see. Yeah, I overall I enjoyed the cast very much. Just the tone of the movie was really cool. I kind of, you know, I felt like the Departed kind of tone, but like a lot more grittier though. Like
dark,
on the
gritty, grounded.
on the
Yeah.
streets
Yes.
though. Like the Departed was more like a mind game. This was like actually action on the streets. So I thought that was really well done. And yeah, the action was incredible. Just creating the settings of it really felt like the gang world. And were they in Southern California?
No, they were in Atlanta.
Oh, they were,
They were in
right?
Atlanta,
Yeah,
yes.
they portrayed the gang world very well. I thought.
And I love that they stepped out of L.A. or Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I just
Yeah.
thought it was in LA
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's always in LA or Detroit
Yes.
or New York, you know.
Exactly.
So that was really done well. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other things I enjoyed about the movie, but overall, those were my main points. But yeah, like I always say, no movie's perfect. There are definitely some flaws in this film that you know, prevented it from being the film we thought it could have been. So Jake, what were some of those flaws for you?
I think a few things that stand out to me is the very beginning of the movie. I could tell that there were going to be a lot of pieces they were going to try to throw into the movie because, you know, it started off with Chiwetel Ejiofor and his crew, right? But then we got a quick shot of Casey Affleck, and we didn't see him for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree
It was
with
kind
you.
of quite a bit of jumping around. And with, like we said, a cast members, you got to include all these characters and whatnot.
At first, it's like you're trying to follow
and,
it all.
Yeah, and so the beginning kind of threw me off a little bit, but like I said, it came together in the end. There were a few story things and, you know, character moments. I was like, what? You know, that didn't really make sense, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there were only few minor things for me. I mean, I like Kate Winslet a lot, but I felt like her accent was like, would she really be a Russian mob boss? It's like, didn't really make sense to me a little bit. I thought she did it well. And also, it was kind of predictable towards the end for me. I felt like it was very predictable. That was the huge standout to me. Not that I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but it was just a little bit predictable. So those are definitely some of the few, like the jumping around, the predictability. So those are the main standouts.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The beginning jumps around a lot, but then I
Yes.
feel like it comes full circle.
It
at
does,
the end.
yeah, it
Everything
does.
makes sense by the end. But yeah, I actually thought Kate Winslet did a really good job. But I felt like if I had to choose one cast member that was shorthanded, felt like she was because
You didn't need her in there. You could have got someone else to play that role.
definitely. So
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sure, Kate Winslet's playing
Exactly.
a mob boss. Holy shit!
Well,
she's one
especially
of
after coming off Steve Jobs,
she's one
it's
of the
like
best actresses working period
Yeah.
today. So I'm like, holy crap! But you got to consider also she's the mob boss's wife.
True.
So she had to run shit while he was
True.
in prison. You know. So but I felt like she was a little bit shorthanded, and yes, very very predictable. The last couple things that happened at the end of the movie, very very predictable. I could have done without some of those things, or just they could have been handled a lot better. So yeah, that was like the main reason why the film was brought down a little bit for me. But yeah, it was one of those movies again, like The Departed, where you know most of the characters don't live to see the
Yep,
end of
yep.
the movie, and I didn't mind that, but the way they went about handling it just wasn't done.
it was all kind of coincidental how it happened.
Yeah, definitely,
You know?
for sure. So, yeah, those are definitely some of my negatives. I felt like they should have. I didn't really feel like the Russian mob was as powerful as they were trying to make them be. You know, like
Well, you see in the very beginning of the movie, like they build it up,
Yeah.
and it didn't really like live up to it.
and they weren't as powerful as they were portrayed in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the film, you're like, holy crap, you don't want to mess with them. But then I'm like, really? Like they did some stupid things at the end that made me think like they didn't have the best judgment, like bringing that object in the car with
I will
them.
say,
Yeah.
I just kind of thought about one more negative. It's kind of like a small negative, not very much, but it was kind of interesting. Like it was, Russian mob versus the cops, kind of versus other crew.
Yeah,
But everybody but the Russian mob seemed like they were ex-special forces.
that's true.
And like it kind of just like it made them, I don't know, it just didn't fit to me. I feel like they wouldn't all be ex-special forces or ex-cops or whatever.
Yeah.
because
Well, I mean, all of those characters were either ex-military or ex-cop.
yeah. So why do they all
So
have
you
to
didn't
be
believe
that way?
they were, or you just think?
No, I don't. It's not that
Well, I
I
actually
believe.
bought that because that's how they know each other.
Yeah,
You know?
but I just don't think it needed to be like that.
That's true.
I don't think it needed to be there.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was all ex-military, ex-cops versus Russian mob, which
Yeah.
it didn't take away from the movie at all. But I don't think it needed to be that way.
Yeah, true. And I thought Aaron Paul did a great job of his portrayal, but
definitely.
I feel like his character was written
A little annoying.
iffy,
Little
like,
annoying.
But then, I think that, and then I'm like, wait, his brother just died. Spoilers. Sorry.
I can take that as a negative, by the way, because I hated seeing that. I wanted to see Norman Reedus in the movie,
Yeah,
man.
I
to see
agree,
it.
but you got to consider that. But then once you get past, him dealing with his brother's death, like, his character was kind of all over the place. You think in the beginning he makes a mistake, and then you're like, why would he do that? That was kind of stupid. But then you see his character's kind of, not very stable in general. So yeah, he was kind of playing Jesse from Breaking Bad a little bit. So all right, so let's move on to the WTF moment, Jake. What in this movie made you go WTF?
Well, I'll kind of going off what we just talked about. The Norman Reedus one is one for me.
Yeah,
that's just because I wasn't expecting it.
For
and
sure.
Then right after that, the way that it kind of ended with how he really died and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
That was one. But I think the main one for me is oh my God, how Chiwetel Ejiofor died.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah,
But well, I won't say that. I wasn't expecting it until he turned his head. And then it was like, whoa.
Throughout the movie, you expect, all right, this guy's gonna make it out.
He's seen like, even though he's on the bad guy, even though he's robbing banks, he's made out to be the good guy. He's like kind of being blackmailed to do this in a way.
Definitely.
And so that's kind of one for me. There are definitely a bunch of others, like the Anthony Mackie one was a huge one.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all. But I think the Chiwetel Ejiofor one, just because he is the lead, and I wasn't expecting it at the time, and because he paid his debts, he got his money, all this kind of stuff, and then this goes down.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple little ones. Just the way the movie ended, like that happens, and then it pauses on Woody Harrelson. I thought it was funny. I liked it, but it was just like that was an odd ending. Like just ends, but it was kind of cool.
Another thing you talked about with The Witch, the open ending.
Yeah, and these WTF moments aren't negatives; they're just something that shocked us. Definitely agree with you with Chiwetel Ejiofor. I didn't see it coming until that scene.
Yes.
In that scene, I knew it was going to happen, but prior to that, I didn't think it was going to happen. But I thought you were going to choose this one, but I'm going to go ahead and choose it since you didn't. The Anthony Mackie character getting popped, and we don't know if he's dead or not.
Well, yeah. Well, he was out of surgery. They couldn't get the bullet out of his skull.
Yeah, exactly. So you could assume he's
he's in. I think he was like in a coma or something.
What was the Franco Fernandez?
Franco
character, the Hispanic cop detective. I think actually Anthony Mackie is dead because he said, "I'll take care of him." He said he would. So I think he pulled out the respirator or something.
Well,
like
no,
that.
because the last time we saw Casey Affleck and him were in the room together and they left.
Oh, so maybe
he's in the hospital. He's still in the hospital as far as we know.
That's true. So we don't even know what happened. But anyways, this is a mildly spoiler review, so we can talk about it. But the way it's set up is Casey Affleck's character was set up to get
targeted.
Because they needed a 999, which is officer down, so they can pull off this other heist on the other side of town. And circumstances happen, and Anthony Mackie's character, who's also a cop, is the one who gets shot, and it's still a 999
by Aaron Paul, who's on his crew,
who wanted to save the cop.
Yes,
I actually liked that a lot. That he was trying to help and save that cop. I actually really liked that. I should have put that in my positives,
which also, if I don't, when he was outside of his house, we all thought he was there to kill him. He was there to warn him.
Oh, I knew he was.
See, I didn't know that at the time.
When he was going to his house, I knew he was going to warn him.
So it paid off in the end for me.
I was like, oh, that's awesome. He's going to go warn him. But
see, I didn't know that until he came to the warehouse.
I knew it while it was happening. Okay. Because earlier he said to Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, he's like, are you guys really going to do this?
It never even crossed my mind.
He's like, this guy didn't do anything. You're really going to kill a cop? And
it never even crossed my mind while I was watching
it. If it comes to a cop over us, then hell yeah,
See, it paid off for me.
But the way that was all handled, and Anthony Mackie just gets shot in the head. That was my WTF moment. Another small one was just how hot Gal Gadot is. Like
Yeah.
I have, I've only seen her in the Fast and Furious movies, and yeah, she's attractive, and I'm really excited to see her as Wonder Woman. But I didn't know how hot she was until this movie, because she's barely in it, but when she is, they let you know that she's attractive. I'll say.
Well, they took out. She has a scene in the trailer it's even hotter than when she's seen. They actually took it out of the movie.
What was it?
She was kind of walking down a hallway or something.
Wow.
Yeah, they took it out of the movie.
Yeah, they do not shy away from showing us how attractive she is. Well, anyways, then now let's move on to our recommendation segment. Jake, would you recommend this to general audiences or just a specific demographic?
I definitely would.
Yeah.
But obviously it's for the older,
Oh yeah, for sure.
17
it's rated
and
R,
older.
so keep that in mind. It's not. We don't mean kids.
I definitely recommend it to anybody. I mean, we saw, we were in there last night. There was an older couple down below, and there was like a higher 20s, lower 30s couple right below us. So,
definitely.
I definitely recommend it. It's an interesting story. It's set in a place that this happens every day. That this kind of stuff happens every day.
And we don't have movies like this anymore, man.
Yeah, and we get one of these like once every year.
That are actually good.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting story. You're locked in the entire time. Like you said, you were never bored. There's always something going on you can pay attention to. So I would definitely recommend it. Yeah,
I agree with you. It's weird because, I would maybe, we just did our Witch review, by the way. Go watch that if you've seen the movie. But I would probably say The Witch is a better movie overall, but
I agree.
I think general audiences would enjoy 999 more.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So for general audiences, adult general audiences, I think this is a really enjoyable film. I think if you're into crime drama and stuff like that, and cop movies, gang movies, I think you would really enjoy this film. It's not, most people could go into this movie and really have a good time after they leave. It's not too long. It's like hour 40, 45 minutes. It's just in it, it keeps moving. It keeps moving. You never really get bored. There's always, each scene escalates the next scene and keeps the story going. So I think general audiences would really enjoy this movie. So now let's score the movie out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and go first. I didn't really know what to think about this movie when I first came out. I know I liked it, but I didn't know how much or what exactly I thought of it. But after thinking about it and talking about this movie, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Once you get into the 8 territory for my personal scoring, I think you're starting to get into like the really good to great. So for me, it fell short of being really good to great. I just think it's good. And I do think, fans of violence and action and cop gang stuff would really enjoy it. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for me. Jake, what's your score?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It did fell short of what I was expecting. I mean, when the first trailer came out, it blew up. Everybody was like loving it.
Dude, I was so excited for this movie.
And John Hillcoat as a director is great. Lawless, The Road, he's fantastic with this type of genre. It's a really good movie, and all our positives, the cast, the action, all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna give it a 7. And that's because I think I did go with a little bit high expectations, but it is still good. And I don't think it deserves that Rotten Tomatoes score it has. We talked about that. I think it's better than that, and I think audiences will love that. It's a very different type of film. We get these every so often. It's worth seeing. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up our review for 999. If you haven't seen this movie, I would definitely go check it out if you're into some of the things that we talked about. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. I want to thank Jake Berlin for joining me today. Where can they find you online?
Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. Check out the Padawan podcast on the channel. I'm on all Star Wars podcast.
And you can find me on Twitter at Jacob Bartley _ on this Apocaflix movie news channel all the time. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. We really appreciate it. And until next time, watch some movies, please.